Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back. Welcome to May Messages. I'm going to put a stamp down below when the actual video starts because I want to go through a couple of things that I feel are important. First and foremost, I am using a brand new deck of cards that was gifted to me by a wonderful lady named Mindy Summers, and these are the cards that I will be using as part of the messages. As you see me going through them, you can check the other readings. They're very beautiful cards. They're very I want to say nature oriented, but they're very flowy. They speak to me in their own language. So I will tune into each card that I have for each sign, and I will extract whatever information comes through to me. The cards have a word on the bottom, so there is a certain word that's associated with each card. I'm not going to go by the description of what the author says it is. I'm going mostly by what I feel intuitively the card is trying to tell me. So I'm trying on these cards and where the energies are. I'm learning how to work with the energy of the card. So that's first and foremost. And I wanted to thank Mindy, if you're watching. Thank you so much for gifting those cards to me. They're very precious. Thank you. What else do I want to say to you? For those of you who are new, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay. I'm not a tarot reader. I'm a medium. I use my mediumship abilities to create pockets of awareness. Let's put it that way. And which means some of these messages may make sense to you and some of the messages may not make sense to you. If they don't make sense to you right away, chances are they will make sense to you down the road. As with everything that I do, my intention is to give you guidance to help you understand things from a different perspective and perhaps to elicit a new thought, a new paradigm shift, a new way of looking at things, all for the purpose of helping you become much more empowered individual, which means I will not be focusing a lot on the future because the way I work, where you are right now is a pretty good predictor of your future. So my fascination is with trying to help you understand what makes you tick so that you can then create more consciously. That doesn't mean that future components won't come through, because for those of you who know me, they do come through quite often. But I always want to focus on giving you information that ultimately allows you to grow and be much more empowered. The messages are not bound in a month of May, obviously, because energy is very fluid. It doesn't have an end date. So in almost every message, I say something along the lines that whatever is coming up in May also transpire over the next 2 to 3 months. So it seems like I'm being given a timeline of about 2 to 3 months with these messages. And so if it doesn't make sense to you in May, try maybe in June or July and see how it connects with you. Of course, for private sessions, if you would like to have a session with me to help you figure out where you're at and where you're going, that information is down below. Of course, this will not make sense to everybody because there's thousands of people watching this. However, if it gives you something to think about, if you pause and you go, I never thought about it that way, then I have done my job, because my aim is to help you think. And is there anything else that I want to share with you? Yes. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but this entire month of April for me felt like I've been dragging my feet. The energy is just so tiring. And what I mean by that is I have been feeling very drained, energetically very drained. There is nothing that I have been doing that's extra or over and above than what I'm used to. But I have just been dragging my feet. It's like I have to pull myself by my hair to do the things that I need to do. With that, there is this tremendous level of pushback. It's almost like it's not that I feel like I'm stalling, but I feel like I'm resisting. Thank you. So the level of resistance in the month of April for me was through the roof, and I'm still recording this in April. Therefore, if you have been experiencing something like that, know that you're not alone. My feeling is, at least with me, that, and I think I might have mentioned this before, I feel like I'm about to pop. whatever the pop is, there's a oomph or poof effect that's waiting to happen, and it feels like the pressure is building up for the poof to happen. So that what I experience is also an indication what many of you experience. So if you have been dragging your feet for quite some time, I don't think it's going to be too long now before it picks up again. And I'm seeing mid-May going forward. If you have been feeling tired, you might start feeling a little bit more clear, a little bit more more oomph. You may have a little bit of pep in your step. And I think that's all I wanted to give to you. So yeah, the stamp is on the bottom for when the actual sign starts. And with that said, thank you so much for sharing, for liking, for subscribing. I always say I am forever grateful to you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. And what I do is I absolutely love. So thank you for that. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you like. Subscribe if you like what you see and you're new. And I hope that you continue to enjoy hearing what messages want to come through to you. Without further ado, let's move on to each sign, and I will see you in a moment. Hello, beautiful sign of Cancer. These are going to be your messages for the month of May 2019. Can't believe it's May already. You guys have birthdays in June. Okay, so not till June, but happy birthday in June if you're watching this in June. Let me just start off. Actually, how do I want to start? The way I want to start, thank you, is to tell you how I feel when I connect with your energy, or the energy for Cancer signs. There's a part of me that feels like I am not settled, and I feel like I'm in a hurry to get somewhere. There's a slight level of anxiousness that I feel. So this is to me signifying that you are in a process of waiting for something to happen. Obviously, it's not anything bad. You're not waiting for anything bad to happen, but you are in a process of waiting for something to happen. And whatever that is, it's not here yet, but there is some fear around it. And the fear, I don't know if that fear is the right word. It's a bit too strong. There is a bit of... it's almost like there's a bit of hesitation around it. And why would anyone be hesitant about something good? Well, if one doesn't believe that it can be true, or if history has shown that it didn't work, then your expectation will be rooted actually in a belief of lack of it. I hope this is going to make sense. Hopefully this is going to translate itself into better words as I move along. So that's the feeling that I got. Obviously, it's not going to be for all of you. For some of you, it's going to be at some point in May, sometime. For some of you, it's going to be at some point in June. What I'm trying to get at, though, more than anything, is when we are anxious, it is because we are too attached to our future, and we are not being in the moment. And when that happens, which happens often, it's it keeps us in this constant state of low level anxiety, because it's stress. It's stress. That's just plainly put. It's stress. So what I want to say here is that the next little while, particularly May, June, July, you may want to spend some time in trying to create or trying to imagine what it would be like to feel good today. Regardless of what's going on right now, imagine what it would feel like to feel good today. And here's the reason for that. Our tomorrow is contingent on who we are today. So if we are anxious today, chances are we'll experience an anxiety going forward, because that energy will attract like energy. You guys know how this works. So this is almost like it's taking your hands off the wheel, letting the smart car drive itself, because it has the ability to do that, and you are going along on the ride. You're not controlling it, but you're not in control of it, but you're not swept by it either. You're kind of somewhere in the middle. Is there another way that I can explain this? Plain and simple, being more present in the moment, it is, I feel, something that most human beings would benefit from. It is hard as F-U-C-K. I know, I've tried it, and I know it's hard for many people, so that's not news. But being in the moment is truly where life is, because you're not in your past, you're not in your future, you're now. So I think you guys get what I'm saying. It feels like over the next few months, it's really important to find sure footing within yourself. And when we have sure footing within ourselves emotionally, we are much more likely to be present. When we are present, we can create what's the word I want to use? We create the manifestation process happens, I want to use the term quicker, but it also happens in very swiftly. I guess that's quicker. It works faster. That's how I'm going to say it. Why does it work faster? Okay, that's a great idea. Why does it work faster if we're in the moment? Because when we are in the moment, then we are fully aware in what is. And what is will produce what will be. So if we are not focusing on what is, we might be missing some really important information that could be very useful to creating our future. I hope this is going to make sense. Feels kind of awkwardy to me, the way it's being presented, but I trust Spirit knows what they're doing, even though I don't half the time. I trust them more than I trust myself. So being present in the moment is key for the next few months. If you were to ask me, being present is key for life. I really believe that is one of those important things in life, that if we began to be more present, we would just be much, much happier human. So that is the first thing that I want to say. The focus point is very interesting as well, because the card of duality came up. So I'm going to give you few versions of my interpretation. The first version is from the book, and this version talks about things being hidden from you, or perhaps someone not giving you the full picture. That's one interpretation. My interpretation is, when I look at it, it's about seeing both sides. The card is called Duality, but it's about seeing both sides. When I look at the cards that I have for you, and I've used 5 different decks. 3 of those decks have the moon in it. Moon is very symbolic of the hidden, the unknown, the secret. And I feel like in the month of May, June, and July, you may want to observe those aspects within you. We all have aspects we want to see, and we all have aspects we would rather not see. That's just the way it is. It's the yin and yang principle, right? Let's put it that way. Both of which are important for our self-growth and our understanding. But more than that, when we are able to see it and we don't hide from it, we can take advantage of those aspects in a way that is beneficial. How? By recognizing your shadows, you are casting light on it. When you cast light on a shadow, it's shadow no longer. So that is what I get from this message. It is about seeing the unseen. And yeah, for others of you, you might have somebody around you who's not giving you the full picture, who's not giving you the full story, who is holding something back from you. That's going to be much fewer of you. More of you will be about you allowing yourself to see those shadow aspects of you. Shadows are often, if not always, the aspects that hinder our growth. However, in my experience, not only as a medium, but more importantly as a therapist and a hypnotherapist, I have learned and I have observed through through my clients, that shadows, once they're understood, once they're looked at, they reveal something quite profound, and that is that a shadow is an aspect of you that's trying to transform. So when we look at those things from that perspective, we are often able to see the significant positive aspect of what the shadow represents, rather than something that we don't want to see. And I'm going to see if I can weave this into more of an explanation as I go along. But you guys get what that means. So the moon is very prominent in your session here, in your messages, and that is about the unseen. You may also be very sensitive to moon energies, particularly around full moon, and I think most people are. Moon is also about intuition. So it's very psychic. Thank you. You may feel over the next few months that your psychic perception has grown or has been amplified. You might be much more perceptive with your intuition. Those are the things that are coming up with the moon. But let me just move on. The next card you have is Ghostland. So the interpretation of this card is literally not being too much in the future and clearly not being too much in the past, but being present in the moment. So the future isn't here yet. The past has already gone. And although it's very important to look at our past, to draw certain conclusions, to have an understanding, to learn and to gain wisdom, it is quite something else to think constantly about our past, because essentially that's where we focus our energies. So this again is the same message as I've said before. It's about being in the now. And if you are anxious, if you are one of those people that is anxiously waiting for something, then you are not being in the moment. You are being in your future, or you're being in your past. Anxiousness is generally about a future. Depression is usually about the past, but sometimes we can have a combination of both. So because I felt this anxiousness, that tells me you're not being present. And if you're not being present, then you are in your future. The future hasn't happened yet. And since you can't control the future, you can only control how you get there. It would be more worthwhile to focus your energies on things that you can actually control, which is you, how you feel, and how you respond to the world. We often react to the world. It's about responding to the world, two different things. Let me go through some of the cards that I have for you. First card, which I love, is about moving on from something that is emotionally no longer serving you. Now, this is something that you may be experiencing right now. You are in a situation where it doesn't serve you, or you are choosing to let go of some old beliefs, old paradigms that are rooted in your past and emotionally they're no longer working for you. This could be anything from you constantly needing to protect yourself from being hurt, to you feeling that you are not good enough, and you choosing to walk away from those emotional attachments that you have in order to find more fulfillment in your life. When we are ruled by our past, oftentimes that is what prevents us being in the moment. Is that right? My brain is trying to work this out. When we are too much in the past, when we are too much in the past, we can't be in the moment because we're in the past. Yeah, makes perfect sense. So some of you, probably majority of you, are moving on, emotionally speaking, from something that no longer serves you. This could be a situation. This could be a person. This could be something that transpired long time ago, so it will be based on in your beliefs. But to me, it signifies a transition. And I think I've said this in every single sign so far. We are all going through transitions, as we all know, and each one of us will experience it differently. So where this might be leaving you, the Two of Coins is coming up in reverse. And for some of you, you might be walking away from a job situation. It could be you not knowing if it's where you want to stay. It could be transitioning to a new place of employment, or this could be you trying to figure out what to do with something that is what's the word I want to use? That is earth energy. So this would be a relationship, this could be a job, this could be a responsibility, this could be a project. There's some confusion, can I call it that way, about something in your life that requires you to make a decision, or you feel you want to make a decision, or you should make a decision, but you don't know what it is. Chances are you guys are getting a new job, or you are starting a brand new relationship. The Ace of Coin is a brand new beginning. It's manifestation. And although it's being shown to me in reverse, to me it does represent a choice. And it's a choice that life may be making for you. So some of you may be leaving something behind, and it is a result of the universe kind of pushing you in that direction. But the reason why that is because there is something on the horizon. Like I said, relationship, a job, a new career, a new opportunity, a new project. There's finances connected to it. Although if it's a relationship, there doesn't have to be finances, but it's something you can feel, something you can touch. On top of it, you have the Empress. So the Empress is all about growth. You see the baby that this Empress is holding, and you are about to give birth to something new. And I feel I've said this to you before, sign of Cancer, but I also feel I said that you are in a process of getting there. Well, it feels like whatever that is, whatever the new beginning is, it seems to be right around the corner. So this could be something that you are experiencing right now, or it's something that will be April. I just got the word April. So for some of you, the new beginning happened in April. And for some of you, it's going to transpire over the next few months. But you are absolutely in a space of growth and a space of expansion, which, by the way, is potentially going to create a little bit of anxiousness, because you will be bumping against your comfort zone. So the pushing the envelope is moving past your comfort zones. Whenever I see the Empress, it is always my symbol of expansion. And expansion is always about moving past what is, which often brings with it a sense of anxiousness, not knowing. Some fears may come up because we are moving from our norm. We're trying something different. We're trying something new, or life is presenting something new to us, and this is where we're going. So naturally, we will have a tendency to feel maybe a little bit anxious, but this is a huge omen and a huge sign. Yes, for some of you, this may symbolize a pregnancy. For some of you, this may symbolize you giving birth to a creation. This is you giving birth to you, or you giving birth to something creative, like a creative project, which can be a job, or it can be a relationship. Absolutely. So like I said, pushing past your fears and pushing past your comfort zones is one of the things that comes up. Another thing that comes up is light of awareness. So this is about moving past your comfort zone, and this is about being aware of what makes you you, and as a result of that, you understand what you attract to you. So let me just see if I can get more information. So the first thing I'm seeing right off the bat is there's something around trust here. You may be faced with a situation where you're not sure. Is it not sure that you can trust it, or is it that you don't trust in yourself? Which one is it? It could be one or the other. Trust is coming up here. So if you are starting a new job or a new relationship, if you're giving birth to something, if you're trying to make a choice or decision, your idea of trust may be triggered. I want to say these words: be led by your curiosity. Now, be mindful. What's the saying? The curious cat was killed, or something like that. There's a saying that I forget how it goes. But curiosity, this is what Spirit said to me a while ago. Curiosity, if children had no curiosity, we would all die. We would just be dead, because nothing would happen. Nothing would be created. When we get older, oftentimes our sense of curiosity tends to kind of dwindle down, because we get responsible, we have things we need to do, we have all these things that we are responsible for, responsibilities, and oftentimes curiosity is kind of left by a wayside. But okay, so rather than trying to worry about what this new situation may bring you, be curious about the potential. Do I want to leave it that way? Curiosity is really important here. Curiosity is also extremely potent in terms of manifestation. It is an energy that is very potent. I've seen this as energy. I've been told by Spirit. Curiosity is just one of those energies that's very potent for manifestation. So be driven by curiosity. Obviously, be mindful of various things, and use your logic when necessary, so that you are not just curious, but you're not taking into account certain things. You guys understand what I'm saying? So curiosity is one of those things. Notice the colors orange and yellow. So the yellow is all about solar plexus. Orange is all about the sacral chakra. So to me, it symbolizes, again, creation. I feel many of you are in a process of creating a brand new beginning for yourself. Well, that's pretty straightforward. It's pretty obvious. And if you are in a process of creating that, be guided by curiosity. So for example, if you are leaving something behind, let's say it's a job, okay, and you don't like where you are, allow yourself to be curious in terms of what inspires you. The analogy that I use with my clients: if you had all the money in the world and that was taken care of, your physical needs were taken care of, what would you do? Oftentimes, the ego gets satisfied with, okay, I have money, therefore I can go and create. So that's often when you will be able to have an answer, what that may be for you. You may not, but it's certainly easier when we think of it in those terms. If I had all the money in the world, what would I do instead? What would inspire me? And each one of you will have a different answer to that, obviously. Another thing that comes up is card around fear and the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is letting go of needing to protect yourself. So this is the Five of Swords. That's how I see it. It's the need to, you're very protective of yourself. And in reverse, it's letting go of that need to protect yourself. And our need comes from having been hurt. When we hold on to that, as in our past, then we are not able to enjoy the present. And if that's the case, then, well, we are constantly fueling the energies of the past. And though the past is what has shaped you, it doesn't have to be what dictates your future. So this card is very symbolic of letting go of the need to protect yourself. Whether it's maybe that's what you're leaving behind. Maybe you were very protective of yourself because you were hurt before, and that's what you are leaving behind. And as a result of walking away, you're no longer feeling the need to protect yourself so much. Obviously, I'm not talking about not wearing seatbelts when you're driving, for example. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you guys know what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to leave it at that. And is there anything I want to give to you? Yes, 2 cards. The Blade is when Spirit is asking you to use one of the most potent weapons or creative tools that you have, and that is your mind. Your mind is so powerful that I feel very few people will truly understand that in a physical body. Unless you're one of those individuals that had out-of-body experiences, that you can actually see yourself being outside of your body and you understand how powerful the mind is that we create with our mind. Or if you've had spontaneous awakenings. Very few people, including myself, can truly understand the power of our mind. It is something that I'm being told is the potency is simply undescribable. We kind of know it, but we don't really know it. We don't know the extent of it. So you are being asked to use this tool moving forward, and that is, your mind is a very creative tool. Where you put your mind to is what you will create. So if you have been protecting yourself, as an example, in the past, then chances are you have created situations where you needed to keep protecting yourself because your past is dictating your future. So let go of the need to control things and use your mind to shape your future. And the best way to do that is to become more in the now. I've explained this before. I don't know if I've explained it with you guys in my other videos. And this is pretty straightforward, but it's worth repeating. We have no control over our future. We don't. There's nothing that we control in our future. We wake up every day. We have no control over our day. We just trust it's going to be there, and then we're going to do what we're going to do. So because we can't really control anything other than how we react or respond to the world, then trying to control an outcome is like trying to control the rain. Pretty hard, right? However, you can manifest your future by the focus you give to your mind. In other words, the way you focus your thoughts on regular basis, on consistent basis, will eventually yield your future results. And that requires you to be present. So for example, if you are anxious, you're not being present. If you're anxious, is because there is an anxiety about your future, and it's generally about safety in some way, shape, or form. So being anxious is not being present. And I think we already talked about how that works. I don't think I need to go further. So use your weapon wisely. Meditation obviously is a huge tool, and it's a key component of any kind of spiritual growth. Whatever meditation means to you, whether it's mindfulness exercises, whether it's being mindful of being in the now, being mindful of your emotions, being mindful of how you react, being mindful of your attachments. You can have any form of meditation as long as you stick to it and keep doing it on a regular basis. The consistency is what creates the end result. Just like, for example, your consistent need to protect yourself probably created situations where you've proven yourself correct, right? And when it comes to life and love, in particular, we can't really protect ourselves from being hurt. We can try our best, but at the end of the day, we really can't. We can't. If somebody wants to hurt us, there's nothing we can do. We can pretend that we're not going to be affected, but there's nothing we can do because we can't control somebody else's actions. However, when we are expecting it, that's something quite different. So, do I want to go with more information on that? I think I've said enough. What else do I want to say? Intuition. When you combine your intuition with your mind, you're unstoppable. Those two are like the perfect scenario for creation and for manifestation. So this is a message to trust your intuition. It's a message to trust the unseen, which is hard to do. To trust something we can't see, particularly when we had issues with trust, particularly, right? But I feel, again, whatever trust issues you may have, particularly in relationships, I feel you are leaving that behind. And that's a good thing. And as a result of that, like I said earlier, you are letting go of the need to protect yourself. One more thing before I let you go, or before I finish. I kept seeing the sign of Pisces. So Pisces is a water sign. You might have somebody in your life that's a water sign that this revolves around. So that's not going to be for a lot of you, or somebody may be dealing with a sign of Pisces. I very rarely get that information. So the fact that it came in, it's going to mean at least one of you will understand it. And I think that's all I have for you. Is there anything else that I want to say? Yes, I will say one last thing, and I think this is a really good conclusion to this. Leaving home is very symbolic of having learned a lesson and moving on. There's something very karmic about this. So for some of you, you are closing karmic cycle, or you are beginning to come to an ending that is symbolic of you closing a certain chapter of yourself that has a karmic component to it. Example, if you have had high need to protect yourself, chances are this is something that you've dealt with for most of your life, and chances are quite high you've dealt with it in other lifetimes as well. So when it comes up this way, it's telling me that you're ready to let go of some certain lesson. Why? Because you've learned it, it's time to move on. That's graduation. That's letting go of the old. It's you guys understand what the karmic cycle means. So that is fantastic. Is there anything else that I want to say? No, I think that's all I've got. I hope this made sense. Of course, this is a general message, so it's not going to make sense to all of you. And if it doesn't make sense to you at the beginning of May, listen to it at the end. Keep in mind that this is going to transpire over the next few months. If you would like to comment down below, I would love to read it. I read everyone. Please do so below. And of course, for private sessions, that information is down below. I wish you best of luck. Take care of yourself. Stay present as much as you can and watch the world unfold. I wish you best of luck. Take care.